about the main events in the east of Ukraine for all the last day. In Mariupol sector, the enemy have done a series of powerful artillery and mortar shellings of our positions along the entire front line from Novotroitsky to Shirokino. The militants have changed their tactics. They are shelling from heavy armaments even during the daytime. These provocations result in sufferings for peaceful residents, and according to OSCE, Shirokino was left by all the peaceful residents. In the Donetsk sector, the most complicated situation is next to Marinka, where enemy provocations take place regularly with the use of small firearms and heavy armaments. The enemy is shelling western residential districts of Donetsk. Enemy fire does not cease in Krasnohorivka, Pisky, and Avdiivka vicinity. In the suburbs of Horlivka, the situation is unstable, however controlled. In Luhansk sector, the gunmen have become more active to the north of Bakhmutka highway in the vicinity of Krymsky and Sokilniki. Also, enemy armed provocations took place next to villages Zolote and Stanitsa Luhanska. In spite of the firing that continued for an entire day, there was no use of heavy armaments from the side of the illegal armed formations. Yesterday, 5 flights of enemy drones were detected in the anti-terrorist operation zone. As a result of combat actions and provocations, there are no casualties, no killed among the Ukrainian military. However, 3 of our military were wounded in the western suburbs of Donetsk. The defenders of Mariupol have got the awards to mark the day of the Constitution. This city on the Sea of Azov has become a second home for military personnel of the National Guards from Odessa, Mykolaiv, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. The guardsmen have got honorary certificates, and some of them were awarded with honorary badges for valor and watches with their names on them. Due to the efforts of guardsmen and military, the situation in Mariupol sector remains under entire control. The gunmen have more than once tried to check our defense as to its strength, but in vain. The Ukrainian special services are successfully conducting anti-terrorist measures. The security service of Ukraine have stopped the activity of the bandit formation Mykolaiv underground, members of which were preparing an attempt at life of the head of Mykolaiv Regional State Administration last year. Gunmen were detained who were spreading, disseminating pro-Russian propaganda in the internet. They were supporting the so-called DNR and LNR and were calling upon to disrupt the constitutional order in Ukraine. The ideologue of Mykolaiv separatist Volodymyr Lysenko is being sought by the police. In Milove district, Luhansk region, the special services have detained gunmen who were exploding the police and military cars, and also they arranged an explosion on the territory of the army radio location station.
Besides, next to Popasna, the Security Service of Ukraine detained 2 women informers of the militants. One was working in the law enforcement structure of Popasnyansky district. In February, she was enrolled by the militant from Dryomov's band. Another one was neutralized in Rubizhny. The rotation among Ukrainian militiamen continues. Another troop of law enforcers from Zhytomyr region went to the east. The tasks of the militiamen are to defend important facilities, to stay on duty in the checkpoints, and so on. 1,500 law enforcers of this Zhytomyrsky region were serving in the zone of military actions. The supply of humanitarian assistance to the occupied territory continues via the control point Zaitsevo, which is on Artemis-Gorlivka highway. The truck went with humanitarian assistance from charitable organization. And now the story from the front line. The checkpoint Kvitechka is now at the front line in Donetsk direction near Gorlivka. Ukrainian servicemen are giving the repelling all the attacks of the and provocations of the enemy. Here's the video from the military TV of Ukraine about our defenders. Here you see the positions of the enemy, the water pumping plant, and they start shelling at us. They were trying to shell at us, but we do not initiate any contact with them. There's a sniper there. Here, if you look, from here we see everything, all the terracones. It's quite a beneficial position, but they're shelling at us from over there. And what's the trend? We don't pay attention to the trends. It's just like it was. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more shellings. And sometimes for 2-3 days they're not shooting, and then for 5 days they start shelling at us, shooting.
So what's happening there? Do separatists come here often? Well, yes, they come here maybe to the distance of 200 to 300 meters. They approach our positions. And what do they fire from? Mortars, grenade launchers, high caliber machine guns, self-propelled artillery. They also shell the point where we have just been. Thank you for the video. This is all for the moment. If there are any questions, I'll answer. Alexander Argat, 5th channel. Could you corroborate, confirm, or repel the information on the pulling out of the armaments of the caliber less than 100 millimeters? The matter is that arrangements to withdraw, to pull out the armaments of lesser caliber do not have any sense because the pulling out of high caliber armaments has not finished. On the contrary, they have moved them closer to our positions and they are shelling our positions. So we should not even talk about the pulling out of lesser caliber armaments. I know that one of the leaders of bandit formation has spoken about this, but as one of our officers said, that with such a master of ceremonies we do not need other speakers, as what they are talking about now is just nonsense. How can you pull out lesser caliber guns if heavy cannons are working? Any other questions or whatever, inquiries? Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow, and our next briefing of the